We're going to get started because I'm looking at the time as well. It's 10 o'clock. And first, let us pray. Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for the grace to be here. Thank you because every time you give us a chance to learn at your feet, we are grateful for it. And Lord, as we deliberate, as we speak about this issue, because it's also paramount to our Christian journey. How do we say no to the many ways of life and also even the temptations that come our way? Lord, speak to us today and help us. And speak your word through us and cause us to learn in Jesus' name. Amen. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, good morning and welcome to our second seminar of the year. And the first one we talk about finding purpose. And for this one, we will focus on the art, understanding the art of saying no. When we talk about the word no, most of the time we always think it has a negative connotation. Because because normally for many of us, it will be raised up, don't say no, don't say no. And many times we carry this thing into the journey of our lives. Most of the time sometimes we are even afraid of saying no because we think it's a very bad thing. But at the same time, no is not always negative. Sometimes it is the most positive thing to say. And when we say that, because like I said earlier, the perspective that no is always a negative thing. No is always bad. No is not what you should say. No is not how you should respond. No is this, no is that. And many times we take that to heart and we live and we run with it. And sometimes it's one of those things that actually stop us from becoming who we are supposed to become because we haven't learned how to say no. We haven't learned how to actually think about the fact that, saying no to some things actually makes it easier for me to follow the things that I want to follow. Somebody comes to you, I need this, yes. Somebody did this, yes. This one comes, yes. And by the time you say yes to everybody, before you know it, you forget everything about yourself. And I always give this example to people when I do training sometimes. I said that when you get inside the plane, I don't know if you get it, when you get inside the plane and they are giving all the instructions, and they will get to the point of the oxygen mask. And they said that if the oxygen drops, say pick up your mask and put it on. And they said something after that. They said that don't help anybody first. Help yourself first. Because you have to put on your oxygen mask first, not even your child. Don't help your child first. Put on your own first. Because what happens is, if you lose oxygen, you can't help anybody anymore. Does that make sense? And most of the time, that's the way it is in the journey of life. If we burn ourselves out, because I want to help this, I want to help that, I want to do this, I want to do that, this and everything, if you get burnt out, you can't help anybody anymore. If you lose all your resources and everything and all this stuff, you don't have money anymore, you can't help anyone anymore. And that's why sometimes understanding how to say no, and saying no many times, and we'll look at some of the reasons why we don't want to say no. Because there are reasons why many of us are afraid even to say no. Because we are afraid, if I say no and everything, why are we afraid to say no? Why do we struggle to say no? Why is no the thing that we think that we're not even supposed to say? We look at many of them today, and also, finally we'll get into the point whereby we see actually, how do I start to understand how to say no? And also, how do I even say no? So those are the things we'll spend some of our time to look at today. Now, let me give us some moment to reflect. Think about all the requests you have received in me, whether it's a request, it's an invitation, somebody said do something and everything and all the stuff. How many of them did you say yes to while you really meant to say no? I want you to think about it and just hold it in your hand, but spend some time, think through it. Somebody came to you and said, can you do this for me? And then you say yes. You're asking your mind, you're trying to say no. Or you feel guilty, or you think something might happen, and then you say yes. Keep thinking about it. I want you to think more about it, reflect about the last month, even the month of May. Today is just May 10. You've received so many requests already. I know many of us. But how many of them did you say yes to, while actually what is in your mind is to say no? Think about it. I'll give you like 2 minutes. Thank you. if you can write them down because we'll refer back to them later. So if you want to write them down, you can write them down, think about some of them, and then you can write them down, and then by the time we are done, we can be able to, we'll go back to them. Have we been able to do that? How many do you have? How many do you have? Think about the requests you have received in May alone. How many of them did you say yes to? Well, actually, you actually meant to say no. How many do you have? I won't ask you to mention what you have, but just ask how many do you have? Anybody want to share? Yes. You have two. Okay. Who else? Who else? There's nothing to be shy about it. We all know. You can count.
No, what's there is I've learned the act of saying no to many things. If I don't want to do anything, I'm saying no.
Yeah, so.
Because I've discovered that saying yes to so many things will jeopardize my own chance of life.
Okay, so we'll continue and we'll see how this is. The case is, all of us will learn all of these things, and it's not an easy thing to do. Don't get me wrong, because whether you are there now, you are not there yet, you plan to get there, it's not an easy thing to do. I want you to put that at the back of your mind, because if you have not gotten there yet, don't beat up yourself. That's why we are here today. And also, you're not going to get there today, but you have the tools in your hand to get there. So now let's go for now some of the requests that we face. I want to really talk about some of the things that people ask of us or things like that and everything. Now let's look at it. Request for our time. So sometimes when we are at work, can you do this for me? Or I can't cover today, can you cover for me? Or can you please help me do that? Okay. They are asking for your time because again, your time is your time. But somebody else is asking to use your time for them, for different things, for different reasons. These are not the requests that we face. It can come at home, it can come at work. Can you help me fix this? This and everything. We get all of those things. Again, because the time you are not using for, you are using for somebody else, you're not using for yourself. Does that make sense? Because every request, many times it has to do with somebody asking you for something. The second one is request for money and resources. Yeah, I feel. You know, it's very common, especially for many of us that come from the other side of the Atlantic. It's very common. Somebody always has a need. Somebody always has one thing going on. Somebody needs school fees. Somebody needs this. They need that. It's very common. And whether families, friends, siblings, everybody, it's always there. They're looking for, or somebody, if you have something, or you have the clothes, somebody wants your clothes, they want your shoes, they want this and everything. Your money and your resources, sometimes somebody is looking for it. Oh, you have some tools and everything, or somebody needs your car. It happens. Oh, can you please borrow me your car to go and get this? It happens here and there many times. Oh, I need this and everything, it always happens. Now, all of these things, remember, people don't ask you for things that are not valuable. Nobody asks you for things that are valueless. In fact, I would say 99% of time now, I would say even 100% of time, people ask for things valuable. Now, something may not be valuable to you anymore, and you can give out easily. Even some people will ask them, give me some clothes, they will say, come back everything that I have. But ask them for the clothes that they like most, then it becomes something else. Because it's a value. So nobody asks for anything that's valueless. It's always valuable. Now, request to perform a task is very close to your time as well and everything. But somebody can say, can you please help me fix this? Help me do that. Help me do this and everything. Now, let me say this. What we are talking about today doesn't mean that you say no to everybody or every request. Because, you know, even in our Sunday service, we're talking about kindness. It doesn't mean that you should say no to every single thing. I should say no. Everything is no. Don't become Mr. No or Mrs. No. because everything is not no. But at the same time, there are some things you have to set a boundary and say no to because of some reasons. Now, somebody wanted to come and do something for them and everything. It's one of those things. Somebody will ask you for that. Now, people invite you to different reasons. Parties, birthdays, these and everything. People invite you to different things, occasions. Oh, let's hang out, let's have fun, let's do this. There are always many invitations. If you want to go to an event every single day of your life, there is always one thing going on, even no matter how small the size. The same thing also happens in many other places. There will always be, even whether it's in person or virtual, there is always an invitation. I don't know if you're on LinkedIn or even on LinkedIn or Facebook and everything. You see somebody has an event they are inviting you to, or they are inviting you to come be a friend. Sometimes you don't want to be a friend. You don't have to be connected. Or somebody, every time, you always get this junk email. Somebody is sending one email to you, I have this to sell to you. It's always there. Somebody is always inviting you to something. They want to sell something to you. They want you to buy something for them. They want to do that everything. It's always there. Even request for your money and resources to all the companies. That's why you see advertisements on TV. You know, my kids now, they play this game of advertisement. They say, save big money. They say, what is that? Okay, that's my favorite stuff. So, they have, so all the ads, they are requesting for your money. That is what it is. And it's not only the things that people, because many times we look at giving things, sometimes you have to say no to buying some things too. So that you can be able to maximize, because somebody that's making, some of us, we have some apps on our phone, they always keep sending us notifications. And what do they want you to do? To buy. If you don't want to buy, turn off that notification so that it doesn't come anymore. So, it's always there. Now, the last one are temptations. Somebody knows that this thing that they're about to do is wrong, but they need you to be in that place for them. Now, let me give you one specific example. Remember when the devil came to Jesus, right? It was tempting him. Jesus was saying no to him every single time. All of us will face different temptations in the journey of our life. Somebody will invite you to places that you know, or they want you to do something that you know, if you do it, you know there's a consequence for it. Yes, they will tempt you to do it. Somebody will say, please cover up for me. They are lying, and they want you to cover up for them. Or they've done something bad, and they want you to be in place for them. These temptations always come. They will say, there are some, I can't remember one show that I watched and everything. They do something bad, and they are looking at who can actually help us. Oh, this guy is always looking, he doesn't always say no. Then they went to him to come and cover up for them. And sometimes some of these things can land many of us in jail or get us in trouble. Or somebody has been doing something bad all the time, and their job is always for you to cover up for them every single time. And every time you do that, what happens also is you always miss out, because if you don't learn to say no to those things, it will continue. Now, all of those things are coming and everything because they all come in different shapes and forms. So these are some of the things that they come to us, and we have to ask ourselves, should I say yes or should I say no? So any question before we continue, any comment before we continue on the things that come our way, or anything that we're missing?
Where does maybe saying no to things that take away your peace fall in there?
Yes.
So, for example, there's certain groups of people, you always know there's always something, they'll always, if I'm saying, like, there's certain people when you hang out with them, it's like there's no peace, or if you go hang out with this person, it's gossip. They'll always be talking about somebody else, so this is not a place I need to be, and sometimes you may not say anything, or sometimes if they say, don't you think so? How sometimes they draw you in and there's no way to and you don't have to tell them you need to stop gossiping. You know what I mean? Like so saying no to hanging out with them is the peaceful thing to do. Where does that fall in temptation?
Yeah, sometimes it can fall under invitations or temptations. Or sometimes it can fall under any of those. And I like that because there are times whereby there are places that there are some calls that if you take those calls, basically what you're gonna talk about is not gonna help you. So again, looking at all of these things and everything, there are things that we need to keep thinking about is the fact that what I'm about to do, some of these things and everything is where does it fall to? Now let's continue. Now, saying yes to something is saying no to something else. Now the question is, what are you saying no to? Because when you accept this, you are saying no to something, you are rejecting something. Now, what are those things that you are accepting? What is the importance of those things in your life? What is the value of those things in your life? Sometimes there are times even within ourselves, we need to learn to say no to ourselves. For example, we're talking about sometimes we want to worry about something. Sometimes you tell yourself, no, don't worry. Sometimes you want to decide, you can tell you, or you have bad thoughts in your mind. You will tell yourself, no, don't think about those things. Because when you say yes to worry, then you are saying no to what? Peace. Does that make sense? When you say yes to buying things you don't need, you are saying no to money that you're supposed to use invest or in your savings. So every time you say yes to something, every time somebody invites you to a place, every time somebody requests something from you, somebody requests money from you, you say yes to it, which means you say no to sometimes maybe paying your bills or something. It can be that way. Or the money you're supposed to save that can help you, maybe the money that should be in your retirement account. You give to somebody else, you say yes to them, you say no to your retirement. So, and sometimes there are some things that are immediate and some things that are futuristic. Some yes will give you a long-term consequence of a no to your future. For example, for young people, if somebody invites you to a place whereby you know that maybe they are taking drugs and everything and all this stuff, and you say yes to it, what happens is you are saying no to a peaceful future. When somebody call you and say, oh, let's go to this party, you know that party, there's every chance they will do something wrong there. If you say yes to it, you get arrested, your record gets destroyed, your future is destroyed. So saying no is far bigger than we think. Because when you say yes to the wrong thing, you are saying no to a glorious future. Right? Does it make sense to everybody? So those are the things we have to think about. That's why what we want to talk about today is going to be deeper, because we have to start thinking about every single thing that comes to us in life. Most of the time is mostly yes and no, actually. Now, when you say yes to that one, what are you saying no to? And that's why the temptation part of it is the fact that many times we are tempted to actually say yes, but you have to ask yourself, where is it going to land me? What is the future of this? If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? I remember when I was younger, I was in elementary school. I was in middle school. So you normally take this exam in Nigeria and everything. So when I was a fairly good soccer player. So my neighborhood, everybody always come to me and play for them and everything in neighborhood tournaments, basically. But it got to a time I asked myself, if I say yes to continue playing, and in Nigeria, one of the things you do most of the time is that you go to school, you play soccer, you can't do them at the same time. That's the first part of the system. So I have to ask myself, if I actually want to go to school, I have to stop playing soccer. So I have to say no to soccer to go to school. Because I weigh the pros and cons. My chances of making a soccer player is very, very slim. So I might as well say no to that one and then go to school. So that's why, even for young people as well, everything is decision making. It's about yes and no. What are you saying yes to? And what are you saying? Because, and look at it, don't look at it immediate, because many of us, we are used to immediate gratification. I want it now. But what is the long-term impact of the yes that you say to? What is the no is going to mean for you also in the future, not only now? So let's think about that before we start. Now, why should we learn to say no? The first one is setting healthy boundaries. You know, somebody said something that I love. Somebody said, don't build walls, build boundaries. Walls keep people out completely. That's what it does. It doesn't have anybody in your life. That's why I was saying that don't say no to everything. Because if you build a wall around yourself, what happens? You'll be lonely. That's exactly what it is. Because walls keep every single person out. Right? But if you build boundaries mean that in boundaries, you can cross over somebody else, somebody can cross in here and there. But boundaries basically sometimes it keeps people out, but it doesn't completely block them out. So, I mean, I don't know whether you've seen, I mean, there are some places where you have virtual boundaries. You know, I mean, I don't know whether you've seen some people that have a dog fence. And the dog fence itself is virtual, you don't see it. But what dog fence does is the fact that once the dog gets there, they feel that thing and they go back. That's the point of that, is why people do that. Many times that's because now it's not, in cases, the dog can actually still go over that thing, but most of the time they go back because it gives them boundary of the place to go to and not to go to. So one thing is, let's learn to, because one of the reasons why you learn to say no is you maintain a healthy boundary in your life. Because sometimes we all need boundaries. If you don't have a boundary, people will invade your life. They will invade everything. Invade your destiny, invade your career, invade your business. People will invade everything about your life. Your privacy, they will invade everything. But we need boundaries in our life. Even as believers, because many times, because they are Christians and everything, as Christians actually, we even need boundaries more. Because you need to ask yourself, does this conform with what God wants me to do? So, setting healthy boundaries is critical. Again, like I was saying, it's for our future and everything and all this stuff. We need that healthy boundaries to continue to live a healthy life. The second one is reducing stress and staying healthy. Because if you say yes to everything, you don't have any time for yourself. No time to rest, no time to do anything. You are just always all over the place. And you have to reduce stress because the more, there is this graph about stress. So it's like a bell graph. So and here, if you have no stress at all, basically, it's not good for you either. Because you need something that keeps, because your brain will not be functioning very well. Your body will not go, so you need a bit of stress. So once you get to that peak is the maximum. If you go beyond that peak, it becomes a negative stress. And it becomes destructive. So you can't eliminate stress, but you should reduce it to stay healthy. Because many times when we hear the word stress, we think stress is not actually always negative as well. It's like no too. But it needs a limit of what it's supposed to get to. So to reduce stress, that's crucial. Focusing on what matters in life. Like I said earlier, when I was making my decision about whether to place of God to put on everything, I was asking myself, what really matters to me? In every decision that we make, we need to learn to ask ourselves, what matters to me? What matters to my family? What matters to my children? What matters to my career? What matters to my Christian journey? I need to focus on what matters in the journey of life. That's why we should learn to say no to some things. I need to say no because if you don't focus on what matters, you will miss it completely. And the question is, for many of us, do we even know what matters to us? The things that matter to us, number one of all of them is our values. That's a whole deeper topic itself by itself, because your values include, what do you value in life? Do you value your family? Do you value your children? Do you value your career, your finances? What do you value all of those things? Because they are the things that matter, because once you define your value, you know exactly what it is. You value your friendship. You value everything because even in friendship, a friendship with no boundary, most of the time it will become enmity with time. Because even in friendship, you need healthy boundaries too. Even marriages, spouses, you need boundaries too. Because there are times you need to be able to be by yourself and think. But without boundaries, many times, friendship, most of it, because somebody will get tired one day and it becomes a challenge. Staying in control of our lives and our time. Time is limited, time is money. So if you learn to say no, you can be in control of our lives. Because what happens is, when everybody realizes that you don't know how to say no, they will control your life for you. If you're not in control of your life, somebody else is in control. You know, the one thing about life is the fact that life is not about life actually is some ways about your life is black and white, it's yes and no. If you're not in control, somebody else is in control. If you're not in control of your money, businesses that want money from you, they are in control of your money. That's the way it works. If you're not in control of your time, your employer will control your time. You need to learn to control your time in all of this. And also the last one, avoiding resentment and maintaining healthy relationships. Because if you keep saying yes, because like I said, there are times whereby you say yes to people, and over time you resent them because they keep coming more and more and more. How many of us complain people keep asking for money every single time? Interestingly, that's not resentment actually, before you know it. They call you, you are angry before you pick their call. That's resentment right there. You ignore them, or after you do something for you, you are complaining. And that's what we're talking about kindness. Whatever you cannot let it go free, don't give it. So that's something all of us need to be careful about. Because if you don't maintain that relationship, if you don't know how to say no, it's going to turn to resentment. And when you resent people, you hate them. Even though you want them to, even though they see your face and everything, but behind them, you don't like them at all. Isn't that the way it is? So if you want to actually maintain a healthy relationship, no is part of an answer. And anyone that doesn't think you have the right to say no, then they do actually have your interests at heart. So those are the things some of the things that we need to learn to say no. Anybody else want to have something to add to this? About the reasons why we need to learn to say no, or what pique your interest in some of these things that we'll be talking about?
And I think the last one, avoiding resentment and maintaining a good relationship, really touches me. Because I discovered that many times, some people, when they call me now, before picking their call, I will feel angry. Because I know that they are going to make the money again. And one thing I have discovered was because from our discussion, I discovered that it was because I did not set that limit. And in life, once there's no limit to how people can have access to you, they will just continue making unnecessary demand, which sometimes will not be convenient and comfortable for you. And that was why when you are talking about how many times I've been able to say no or yes to some things in this month, I've learned now that once you call me and I feel that it is not convenient for me, I will actually say no. And when it is convenient for me, I will give you time. Because I discover if somebody is making a request from you and you are giving them immediately, maybe you are thinking, it is very urgent and I don't want them to suffer. They will be thinking that you are keeping that money somewhere, that you are just picking it and giving it to them. So whenever anybody makes a demand now, I will give them time. Maybe in the next 2 weeks, I will be able to do that. Because I discovered that not doing that will be giving the impression as if that you have that money somewhere and it's necessary. That you don't even need it.
Yeah, one thing I want to add to what he's saying is that we should avoid being men pleasers. We like pleasing people, it's one thing. Yeah, you need something, oh, I could have felt, but I don't have it. Let's be done. Oh, can you come tomorrow? You know very well that you don't have it. You know, and we should also avoid pressure of the people. You know, especially it happens in the church. Oh, if I don't do it, the people will say this or something like that. You know, yeah, just let your yes be yes, your no be no.
We'll get details of what you're saying.
Yeah, the one thing I want to say is that still about the resentment thing. I know that I have few people now that anytime I do anything for them, the news I hear about it later on, it's just not something that makes me feel happy. It's either they misuse the stuff I gave them or they just say something. You know, when you get to a stage that you're doing something for someone and at the end of it, oh, you don't even know what she's doing with that. You don't know what she meant by giving us something like that. That is even hurting. I give you something out of my... And then the next thing I'm hearing is that there was a time, in fact I have a lot of voice notes on my WhatsApp. The lady called me, oh, please now, did I do anything to you? Please, it's only you I have. It's only, I cannot talk to so. I'm like, so how is that my business? The next time she called, I left another message, and I started feeling bad, but I don't want to feel bad.
We'll get it. It's part of what I'm doing.
Yeah, let me have this. It disappoints me that Emmanuel is not here this morning. Sometimes I do tell him, when you keep on giving things to people, it will go to a point that people will just think that you have that in message.
Actually, it becomes a right.
Yeah, it becomes a right.
Because they think
they traveled home last year. When they were traveling home, I told them, you are going home for 2 weeks. Just get and stay there. He did not listen to me. He went ahead for AD and MD. And by the time they got to Nigeria, all his brothers and sisters, they came to him. And they were now feeding on him for 2 weeks. And by the time now he came back, and the way they were talking, sometimes people, they are so loose in talking, they will be saying jargons. And somebody even said, he came from America to come and offload whatever is on him. Now, when the guy came back, he now said, oh, the money that I labored for. And they are now saying, I came home to offload whatever is in my body. And since then, now, he has not been picking their calls. And because of that, they too, they have thought that Emmanuel is their enemy now. You know, sometimes when we continue to give, when we continue to not to learn how to say no, instead of people appreciating us, it will turn to enmity.
Because I think it's a right.
Yeah.
Get it. Please.
Yeah, something happened to me last week. I mean, my husband was. So last week, there are some people in my life, so I'm trying to help them, then I make sure I put them, I put a certain date every month to be giving them something, and I even set alarm at a certain time.
Oh, God.
The alarm.
So, and one of them, maybe, he was like, oh, it's 2 o'clock or 8 o'clock, we will not do anything. And he keep on calling every time. Even in the night, I've not woke up to the morning so that I can even do. She has been calling. Then I was so mad, like, what is this? Then when I was complaining, my husband said, it's your fault. Why do you have to set alarm and at a certain particular time that
I must be
expecting?
I feel so like...
There's something that the husband may be asking her something and she's
You don't have to set alarm, you don't have to put a specific date. You just have to give them when they don't achieve it.
No, what is there is the damage we are doing to ourselves. tell us something this morning. It's good that we are in this type of forum. The damages we are doing to ourselves is just too much. Because many right now, most of us we are growing old, and we have to be factual with ourselves.
Right.
We should learn how we can set boundaries on whatever help we are rendering now, because the resources is very limited, and the economy now is too bad for you to give anybody hope that you are going to give them so things at so time, because by the time you get to Walmart and what you bought, maybe what you bought last week for $1 is now $30. How do you reconcile it with your income? And your income has not increased. And you have already set some amount of you have set out some people that you must give money to, and they will be expecting it every month that you are giving them money. And here are bills at home that you want to pay. And you are not making it, and you are putting pressure maybe on your husband or on your wife, because I must collect this, I must collect that. Don't forget that whatever you are able to save, whatever amount you are able to pay out of your mortgage is part of your saving for future.
And even whatever we think, the way we are trying to help them, when you get to Africa and you see all these people you are supporting, you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
You'll be like, even go to their closets, especially women. Go to what they have. Some of them will be living in their own house, and you are still struggling to build yours.
In fact, somebody may even call you. Please, somebody that you are supporting, somebody that is telling you that you could not feed, he may call you maybe during the Christmas. I'm moving to my house and I don't have money to pack.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the number 4 question, and staying in control of our life. And then you mentioned how to say no to something things, right? So my question is how to confidently and boldly say no. I want to use our place of work as a case study. How to confidently and boldly say no to our colleagues or boss at our place of work when you know the job assigned to you is not defining your roles and responsibility, without having the fear that they are going to hate you or affect them in performance evaluation.
Let's hold that, because toward the end we'll deal with all of those things. Hold that question because I want us to. Yes, sir. I want us to. Yes. Okay. So why do we struggle to say no? And this is actually what you're talking about. Talk about it. No. The first one is this: is desire for love, approval, and validation.
Yes.
One of the things that I've learned is, until you overcome the trauma of the fact that you need somebody to love you, if you don't love yourself, you always want to validate you, somebody to approve you. Wherever they come, you can't say no to them, because you think the only reason why they work with you is because you are at their beck and call. The funny thing, they don't respect you. In case they are using you, they don't respect you. That's different. But because we want to be loved, what I've learned about it is the fact that many of us, we've put our love is contingent on what we do for people. There's just a song, it's a secular song I used to sing that song with Whitney Houston. He called it the greatest love of all. I don't know if anybody knows that song. He said, I decided long ago never to walk in anybody's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. Many of us, what we do is we walk in people's shadows. We want their validation. We want their love. Everything. Because every time we think that if I didn't do this, they will hate me. And so what? So those are the things we need to do, because if every time you are looking for love, approval, and validation and everything, you can't say no to somebody that you think is going to give you all of those things. But that's why you have to come from inside. You need to learn to love ourselves. Learn to validate yourself. You don't need someone else to validate you. You have to learn to do that. The second one is desire to be needed. Some of us, we want people to need us. Because we feel that if they are not asking for something, it means I'm useless. So what? So sometimes we go out, so somebody asks you for $1, you give them $40 because you want them to need you. Because we feel useless if nobody is asking us for something. Or somebody is not asking you to come with them and everything, we feel that they don't need you. Many of us carry the mentality that somebody else will need us. But you need yourself. So sometimes we have, because we want to be needed, going through it. The second one is the savior mentality. You feel guilty because you feel that if I don't do it for them, who will do it for them? Oh, I will tell you, if you die today, you will put somebody else tomorrow. It's as simple as that. Even kids. God forbid anybody dies and everything. Kids will grow up without their parents. They will. I'm not saying different, but the only thing is the fact that let's remove that savior mentality. Without you, without me, the world will go on. Stop feeling guilty about the fact that, oh, if I don't do this now, something will happen. The question is why do you have to do it? And many times we put ourselves in the place of God. We talked about it several times. We think, I have to do it. Who are you to have to do it? So that savior mentality is one of the reasons why many times we put ourselves in bondage, that we can't say no to anything. And many of us will continue to live in that bondage for a very long time. Because we think, oh, if I don't do it, if you don't do somebody else, so it's not about you. Life will go on without you. Another one is we want to avoid upsetting others or hurt their feelings. Because, somebody will be angry with me. Is what you're saying the other time and everything. Yeah, I can be angry with you. It's okay. In fact, actually, when people become angry with you, actually, you're not living a good life. Go and look at everyone that is rich today. Go and look at Jesus. You know, if you look at whether Trump or Biden, Obama, somebody doesn't like them. Isn't that what it is? Go and look at Jesus. Somebody you don't like him. So if you want to keep upsetting people, somebody will be angry with me, or I'm going to hurt their feelings, and yeah, it's okay. Oh, somebody invites me to their stuff, but I have so much going on. I go. If I don't go, they will feel bad. Yeah, it's okay, let them feel bad. But if you drop it on the way, you're dead. It's as simple as that. Another one is sometimes we are afraid of conflict. Oh, I don't want trouble. Don't just do it. And it's common at work. Oh, I don't want trouble. And like, oh, you're saying and everything. I don't want somebody to write something bad about me and everything. And then we continue. And what people notice the fact that this is who you are, they will keep throwing everything on your plate. You know, this is very common. I've talked to people who are new in the US on average. So people that work in healthcare, if you remember, when you are new, they will give you everything. Because they know you are new and everything. Because initially you're afraid to say no. If you don't say no to them, that is going to continue until you leave that place. And they will keep piling their own job, they won't do it, they'll pile it up for you. Because you are afraid of conflict. I used to be that way. Right now, I don't care what you have, I'm going to put it straight to your face. It's not happening. Because if you are afraid of conflict, what happens is, so I remember I've told this story somewhere when at one place where I used to work, the person used to bully me a lot. I was working and everything, and this person, even because of the time, this person embarrassed me in front of the customer. One day, we were in the vault trying to get money out. The person came and came together, and I told him, I said, never ever in your life. I said, look at this straight in your face, straight here. Never do this again. Ever. The guy was like, who is speaking? I said, that's me. He said, no, after that, we disagreed on that day. So initially it was like, I said, you want to beat me up? Let's go and fight. I couldn't fight. It's not that good. But the case, but sometimes you have to understand the fact that you can't run away from conflict. It's part of life. And after I became good friends, now you respect me. But then we are not friends, actually, it was just using me. So sometimes you want to actually reclaim your boundaries. Sometimes conflict actually help you to figure out what you're supposed to do. But people don't respect you when you can't speak for yourself. I'm not saying people are fighting everybody, but there are times whereby some conflicts are necessary.
So I was gonna say, so for me, I mean, I pick and choose.
Battles.
I pick and choose my battles, and I pick and choose where I spend my energy. Like there's certain people, when someone keeps doing something, they keep going and they keep going and they never stop. They know they're wrong, but they just won't stop.
Yeah.
There's certain people I've told myself I will engage with them on an as-needed basis to the extent to which I need to. Beyond that, like that will never be somebody that will be my inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
I will be friendly, if they need my help, I will help them. But like I already know at the back of my mind, this is not a person that I'm gonna trust. It's not a person that I go far with. I just treat them well, and I love them with the love of Christ. But beyond that, there's a limit, and that's how there's certain people that's how I relate with.
Yeah.
And then there are people that I'll open up to and share and all that. But there's certain people, I don't know.
No, the case is, if you are one thing is, don't be afraid of conflict. If anything once you get engaged in one, you continue.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
No, true. Because the case is, a person you are afraid of, the person doesn't respect you actually. That's what I mean. They don't respect you. But the moment one day you put it straight to their face, that's their respect starts. They respect your space. They know if I go beyond my space, this person will give it to me. They won't do it. Somebody has tried with me one day and everything. When they come to my space, I told them, this is my space. And now they respect me. You know my space, they respect it. It doesn't mean they can't come to me, but you can't invade my space anymore. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna allow you to do that.
That's it. I have an example. I applied for a job in my team sometimes ago. The opening was senior clients representative. So when I applied for the job, they said I was not qualified. So I kept quiet. After some time, maybe a few months after they filled the opening, the person that was employed, they now keep on throwing a job to me. And will you be able to write, Peter, will you be able to do the email? And will you be able to do this? Will you be able to update the invoice? The first time they threw that to me, because I want to learn what they were doing there, I did it for them. The second month, they asked me, Peter, will you be able to do this? I said, no.
You trust somebody for it?
I said, somebody is there that can do it. Somebody that can be employed. She should be able to do it. And we thought you have been doing it before. I said, I have been doing it before. But now, somebody has been employed to do it.
And that person for it?
So, a few months later, they now threw another one to me. Hey, will you be able to, because I was the one that used to work on the invoice, I will send it out. I don't care how they update it. But now they ask me, will you be able to update that? And it's the same person that's supposed to do that. I said no. And my supervisor said, she called me and she said, you are doing the right thing. Because you are an assistant financial. So, if we give you any assignment and you think that you are not ready to do it, just let me know. And since then, in fact, sometimes, like yesterday now, all I did at work was not, all the work that I do for 8 hours is not up to 30 minutes. Because, but in the time past, I will just sit down for that whole 8 hours, doing other people's jobs.
Some people don't do anything and they get paid.
And they get paid. And most especially these people that work from home, some of them, they will not even touch their work. And by the time it is becoming late, they will now be giving it to others to do for them.
We'll talk more about that. So another one is fear of being left behind. There are times whereby you feel that if I don't do this, I'll be left behind. I will not be where I'm supposed to be. I will not be. There are times whereby you don't have to do it. Sometimes it's very common at work. If I don't help this person out, I'll be left behind. Or they won't see me as part of their group and everything. They won't think I'm a team player. The case is you don't have to label yourself to be a team player. You have to sacrifice yourself to be a team player, actually. I'm not saying don't be a team player, but everybody needs to learn to play their role. You don't have to do everything for everybody. And also the last one is sometimes we don't think no is an option. That is very, very common with many people is the fact that sometimes you get to work and then they give you something. Normally you're supposed to say no, but most times you don't even think no is an option. And I say no. And I don't say no. But sometimes I don't know is an option. Because somebody says, I don't have a choice. Yes, you have a choice. You only chose the easy choice. I mean, you only made the easy choice. Oh, I don't have a choice because yes, sometimes it's a very easy choice. But no is a difficult one. But some no's actually it gets you to where you're supposed to get to.
I think in the workplace, some people they say yes, maybe because they're hoping it'll make them look more hardworking or more, like all these things that they hope that they're going to get a promotion because they're garnering maybe some favor from their leadership and all that. But I think sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't, right? It just depends on the situation,
Actually, what I do is I was telling someone about the way actually I approach what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. So there are some projects I'm not even touch them. So number one, they're also my scope of work. Now, I know my scope of work I'm supposed to do. I know there are some that I'm not supposed to do them for somebody else, but there are some I will do them because they had value to me. But if it's not adding value to me, I'm not doing it. Because the case is this, sometimes what some people will do is this. Any project that they know will put them in the spotlight, they won't give it to you to help them with.
That's it. That's it.
Are you seeing that at work?
Yeah.
If this person help me with this work, they will get to know this person, they won't put you. But the one they know nobody will see you, they give it to you.
That's it.
I told that person, if this is what you want, don't bring it to me. The one that will bring everyone to spotlight, that's the one that I want. Yes. Because it's not meant for you. It's not, it's not that I cannot help people. There are people whereby we help each other out every single time. And one day I will step in for them and everything. But there's people, all they want to use you as a stepping stone to get to where you are going. Stop being people's stepping stones. Because all they see you is, they see you as a ladder. They don't see you as a human being.
In fact, recently my supervisor, she forced out this frustration about how people behave when it comes to some work. Some of our team members, whenever they have anything to do, they will keep anything that is valuable, they will keep it to themselves. They will not let people know that what they are. This one is available. Something that you can learn that will add value to them, they will keep that one to themselves. Anyone that they think now it is not all that valuable, they will not be pushing it out.
That's the way it is.
And anytime it is becoming late, and the supervisor is trying to ask them, why is this thing becoming late? Why don't you ask others to help you? It's my work. I don't want anybody to do it for me. That's what they do.
It's one of the things that people do about in life. So most of the time you need to realize no is an option actually. If you don't want something, say no to it. So we need to remember this. Also, so take a quick break, a 5 minutes break, and then we continue next 5 minutes. So before I continue, what have we learned from evil things that we've gone through already? What are we things that we any evil lessons we've seen already?
So I was having this question. How can the church influence some of these things, like people finding it difficult to say no and sometimes yes? And the church have an influence on some of these things.
This is one of the influence that
Yeah.
people have. How many people are here now?
Not like bringing everything, because most of these things we are citing at times can be bringing to the church room.
Oh, okay.
Bring it
You are
to-
bringing your money and everything.
bring it
No, yeah.
bring it
No.
to-
Bring this kind of stuff into
Because,
Christian.
Into Christendom.
uh, you know,
Yeah. No, I mean the case is, I mean definitely it's something that, because I mean to put it into sound like in songs and everything, right? Yeah. In basically, like I said earlier, the temptation of Jesus alone is the heart of saying no. Is the actually the master art of saying no. So the devil came to him, and it was and the first thing said, turn this stone to bread. He said no, because he hated it. And that's what we look at is he knows his values. He knows his own mission. You know that bread is not just an ordinary bread. Like we said here and everything, because it wasn't because the biggest thing is to eat bread right now, but lose the ministry in the future. Does it make sense? So that's why we can easily, that's what part of what we are doing right now. So that's why what we try to do is, because we try to bring these things, like seminars to churches also, to make sure that we understand the fact that our life, because, I mean, the word of God also and what we are teaching, they are not they don't contradict each other. I want us to bring it plain. Even many times in churches too, somebody say bring all your money to church. Somebody say give everything that you have. It's very rare that happens in the Bible. What is sad in the Bible that the woman that has only one person coming to church? It's not that case every time. The one you are giving that money to, they have so much and they are collecting more from you. And sometimes you need to tell some pastors, no, it's not happening. Because at the end of the day, somebody said, bring money to do this, and no, you're not doing this. That's why you need to know who you are as a believer.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking about work. Sometimes when you want to say no, it might also be a good idea to be prepared for the consequence. Right? You want to be confident. I'm saying no because these are my values.
Yeah.
But your no may also generate an undesirable outcome.
Yeah, that's why.
You know, but if you know, for example, if you're in a job where they keep saying it's mandatory overtime, you know, maybe you have other things going on, you need to get paid or whatever it may be. But sometimes you can just, if you say no, you may suffer a consequence, or they may say, you know, you may not work here anymore. Like sometimes, I guess some no's you have to prepare and know that this no may have a negative consequence, but also be mentally prepared to receive that and say, it doesn't matter what happens, this is my choice, these are my values, and I'm ready to face whatever.
We'll get to those things.
Yeah. I have so many things, but because of our time, I'm just leaving it. Like what you said, that how can we bring it to church? I think this seminar is church program. And if you want to make it, let it come in as a sermon, as a sermon topic preacher at that moment. This is the forum that the church can bring to people so that they can benefit. The only thing is that we still have it on YouTube. If you want to go over it, if you are not here. So, and it's not limited to members of the church again. But people are not interested in this kind of thing. What people want now is, hey, the church is going to pray a miracle, or the church is going to give incentive money, people will come. But this is more than even money, because if I can go to some of the money in my pocket. Yeah, my question is, where is the place for permissive no and permissive yes? Because the Bible, there were two brothers. The father asked somebody to do something and he said, no, I'm not going to do it. And one said, yes, I will do it, and they did not do it. Where is the role of people who say, request for something, and I say, no, I do it, and yes, and I did not do it. Yeah. That is one. Another, the second question is, where is the act of compassion in this yes or no?
And so the first one is about permissive yes and no. One of the things to think about is the fact that before you say yes and no, because you have to think about, before I say yes and no, I can say no to somebody. For example, I was talking to someone one day. The person said, if somebody tells me to come and do something, I will say yes, but I will not go. I said, don't do that anymore, ever. It's better for you to say no, I will not come, than to say yes, and the person is waiting for you and they didn't show up. That's worse. Because what you do is you disappointed them. After you told them you're going to do it. If you won't do something, tell them I'm not going to do it. It's as simple as that. Don't give somebody a lip service. It's worse than no, actually. If no is definitive, they're not counting on you, there's nothing, it's as good, you're good to go.
Yeah, this is the question now. What if I say no?
Yeah.
And maybe God just put in my mind that, please do this for my sake. You know, we can do that, and then by the time we do that, eventually we will surprise the person. But if you feel like this person is using me, I may not do it. But if God
touches you
to do it,
yeah,
I think that's what he's saying, that I will not do it, but eventually, I remember my brother always do that. He will be so mad at you. By the end of the day, anytime he's mad like that, I'm like, oh, this man is going to do it. So anytime, whenever I feel better, like, I just send you that, and I said, I know you will do it.
Yeah, no, truly, there are times whereby it's good to surprise people than to disappoint them.
Yeah, right.
Now, the story that you said, even if it was in the Bible, the son said, yes, I will go, but it not. It disappointed the father. But the one that said no and did it, is surprised the father. That's a good surprise. Because now the father wasn't counting on him to do anything. But eventually he went and he made it happen. Sometimes it's better to do it that way, because, for example, even you may not have anything to give to someone, but out of this, God provided, if I can give something to this person, and you give them something more. It makes more sense than to overpromise and under-deliver. I always tell somebody, under-promise, over-deliver. But don't under-promise and over-promise, under-deliver. It makes you look bad.
Sir, can you go back to the second slide?
Sorry.
Thank you. I want to say something about the desire to be needed. I really thank God for this, because it is always on me. Recently, somebody that is not part of my life and I have never seen him or her for the past 30 years. I just sat down and I remember, oh, where is this person from me? And I connected somebody. Where is this? Where is this? I was like, oh, I just met 2 months ago, and I have a number. And he sent the number to me. And I on WhatsApp, and I sent a message. So, and he immediately remember me. I just remember you, how you like me. Do you know the second test? Brother, I need your help. Desire to be needed. And again, I have my go look for Wahala. My brother's children. Even when their father was alive, I could not recognize any of them. This is my father's brother and little brother. I don't hear him, he has seen any of the children, but there are one of them that are attached to me, the last one, and I've been helping him. And the thing just came on me, and I said, why your brother is not asking after me? The brother is living comfortably, he doesn't bother me. And I sent a message to the junior brother, why is your brother is not talking to me? I said, okay, I will tell him. And he told him. That's
looking for you.
So, the mechanical slept, I was one that was waking up. So, I thank God for this. He decided to be needed everywhere. You'll be looking for trouble. When you look,
that's one of the things. I want to answer the question about compassion. The case says, it's good to be compassionate. When I talk about kindness, it's good to be kind. But don't turn kindness to a burden.
That's it.
Because there are times whereby, and let God lead you. Many times, many of us will turn our kindness, we think, I'm doing this. God is telling you, I'm not asking you to do jack. It's your burden.
One thing I want to tell us this morning was that when Jesus Christ was alive, it was not everyone that was healed.
Yeah, he didn't help anybody either.
Not all of them that he healed. Not all of them that he performed miracles in their life. And one thing I have discovered, when we are saying desire to the Lord for approval and validation, one thing that I have discovered is that not everybody can love you. Even if you know, and in fact, there's a way that Yoruba put it, that somebody that will never love you, even if you put your hand inside the plate, you will eat it, you will not smoke.
So I would say, we are lucky that some of these things
are coming
up here. Because, and that was the question I wanted to say, have the influence of the church on some of these things. Because, like, some of them think, love your neighbor as thyself. So, whether you can't love you can't do what is abide within your means. Then you want to force yourself there.
What you are saying right now, I was talking to someone one day, and the person said, they can go and get a credit card to give somebody money. I said, far be beyond me. There was no way I would do that for anybody, ever. I'll go and get a loan to give you money. Why? People do it. People won't pay their mortgage to give people money. It's not kindness, it's madness.
Somebody asked me from Nigeria, I'm not asking you to give me money, but can you borrow money to borrow me? When I said I don't have, he said you can borrow money, it's easy to get loan over there. Can you get loan on my ear?
No, there are certain things that we need to be very careful. One thing, things that I've learned this day, I've learned so many things. The senior brother of my wife, he said his son wanted to seek admission here in the US. That I should help him to look for school. I said, that is the simplest thing that anyone can do. And I looked for school, I sent it to him. And they are allowed to apply for pay the application fee. And I said, can you help me to get loan to pay the application fee?
Okay.
That's the application fee.
That's the application.
That's where you're starting from.
I said to him, your request is the dumbest things that I've ever had. For somebody to say from application fee of less than $100. What of when they ask you to pay for the tuition?
Tuition, CVs, I-24, all of those things.
So I said, And when my wife when he talked to my wife, and when my wife talked to me, I said, one thing I want you to realize is don't put yourself in trouble. The moment you pay for this application fee now, that means you are ready to pay for everything. And once you don't pay one, he will already understand that you are not going to pay anything.
And the worst part is that they will tell you that you are the one that crumbled their life. That's what
Because they will say,
because you didn't pay that one, that's why everything messed up.
So let's look at the types of no that we can say. The first one is no, not now, maybe later. That's the first one is, no, I don't have the money right now. I can't give you anything right now, but maybe later I can give you. That one has a promising. Because for example, let's say you know somebody needs something. You have your own mortgage to pay. Okay, after I pay my mortgage and everything, maybe next month when I get paid, I might give you money. Or somebody said they need something they need to help them with something that I cannot do it right now, or maybe in the next 2 weeks I can help you. That's an option, right? So that's no, maybe no, not now, maybe that's an option. The second one is no, never. Ain't gonna happen. So whatever you think in your mind, get it out. Because it's not gonna happen. So it's just so sometimes this one is good at times. You know, the first one is if you know that okay, I have to do something for this person and everything, and when it's comfortable, like someone is asking me for some money, I said, I don't have the money right now. If he shows up, I will give you, but I'm not promising you anything. If I have something I give you, but there are some people I just say, that request is not gonna happen. So somebody say, oh, I'm trying to build my house and you know okay, go bless you, we'll get there. Say, it's not gonna happen. I have to pay my own mortgage. Because one thing about America, you don't pay your mortgage, you don't pay your rent, you become homeless. As simple as America is the easiest place to become homeless. So now no. The last one is no, I disagree or I don't want that. Especially when somebody wants to make you do something for them. One thing that we don't know, because many of us we live by agreement, death by agreement. We agree with everything. But we can't say, no, I disagree with that. I don't see that. You know, sometimes in some workplaces, you have some leaders that have built teams whereby they want everyone to agree with them. If you work in such a place, if you have a chance, get out. You will not grow. You'll be stunted. Because basically your ideas will work nothing. I'm not saying get out today, but if you can apply for a different job in another place to go and do work, it makes more sense because there should be a chance for, and also even families too. If you're in a place where you can't disagree with an idea in your family, you need to rethink that place. Because you have a chance to disagree with things. So, no, I disagree, I don't want that. Somebody wants to make you do something. I'm not doing that. So those are the things that we need to learn about centers of no. Ways of saying no. Now we're getting there. Now, how do we say no? The indirect way is avoidance. Somebody call you, and they are called. You avoid them. It's not always the best actually sometimes, but sometimes it's useful. I mean, because the case is somebody send you a WhatsApp message. These days, my Facebook Messenger, I stopped checking it. Somebody said something, and the person said, I stopped posting my vacation picture on Facebook. Whenever I post in Facebook, the next thing I get is a bunch of requests. People think you go on vacation is a sign. You should give them money for going on vacation. Whereas every night they go to pass with paper soup. People do it. And they think you don't have the right to go for vacation because you are wasting money.
You don't have right to rest.
Yeah. So one of them is avoidance. Because when the request becomes too much, because how many can you meet? Again, that savior mentality, remove it. You don't have to be needed. Stop feeling guilty because you can't meet everybody's needs. Even Jesus himself did not meet everybody's needs. Remember, after he fed the 5,000 people, some people came to him, Jesus said they were looking for food. He said, I'm not giving you food today. Second one is no interest. Somebody just said something, you just pretend, the way you respond, this one is not going to do anything. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what's going to happen. You say this one, this one is not going to do anything. It's an indirect way of saying it, well, no, and everything. And sometimes it can be useful. But the indirect way sometimes may not always be the best. Now let's look at the direct ways. One of the direct ways is apologetic. Sorry, I can't help you. I'm sorry, I'm sorry and everything. It's not something I can help. It's kind of apologetic. So, oh, give me something. Sorry, I can't give you. Can you please wait and do this for us? Sorry, I cannot do that today. And everything. Sometimes apologetic and everything, but yet you are still saying no. An apologetic way. That's one. The second one is reason. No, I have an obligation. I have something to do. Oh, can you wait and do this? No, I have to go and do. I have something else that I need to go and do. Or I cannot do this now. I cannot give you this money now because I have other needs to meet. You give your reason, and sometimes you should give your reason. Sometimes you shouldn't, because some people, if you give some people some reason, they will tell you, "Isn't my own needs better than the reason you are giving?" Yeah. Some people will say, "Well, I'm paying for my child is to go to school. I'm paying for their tuition, but I am sick. I need that money. Isn't my health worth more than your child's tuition fees?" Some people think that way. So sometimes keep your reason to yourself, but sometimes it makes sense to give reasons. So because there are some, for example, depending on your relationship, some people will understand your reason and say, "Oh, it makes sense. The money is so," but some people will never. It doesn't matter. Even if you say, "I have to pay for my health insurance," they are wondering, why should you pay for insurance when you can give me money? Yeah, when I sick, without health insurance, I'll go bankrupt. So it doesn't matter. Some people, if you give them any reason, they will not even understand. So don't stop wasting your time. Another one, provide options. Oh, it is give them. What about this? You can try something else. You can try this one. Oh, can you please borrow me $1,000? You can actually go a credit card and use that as an option for you. Yeah. Or what if can you please give me this and everything? Instead of that, actually, how about you actually maybe try and buy? Okay, for example, somebody say, "I need 5,000 to buy something." How about you do for a cheaper option? For example, somebody wants to buy, they want to buy a car that worth $30,000 and they're short 5,000. You can say, "How about you buy a one that worth 25,000? Your money can buy." That's an option. Somebody say, "Oh, I want to build a house and everything." How about you actually, the money that you have, cover some part of the house and live there until you got the remaining ones instead of looking for money for me? So you can give them options if possible. Another one is direct and clear. No, thank you. Ain't gonna happen. Because sometimes some people, if you don't approach them directly and tell them it's not going to happen, they will keep pressing you. It doesn't matter how much you are apologetic to them, you say reason, you give options, they will press you to anything and tell them, "I told you it's not going to happen." End of discussion. Some people need that firm statement. So all the first three, they are for reasonable people. The last one is for an unreasonable person. No, thank you. It's not going to happen. Because for people, it doesn't matter how much it is. It doesn't matter what you tell them. They see their needs above yours. Whether it's you're working with some people, and you have your own deadlines, and they have their own. And when they come to you, they are standing on your neck to give them what they want. And you tell them, "I have my own." You tell them, "No, I have things to do as well." That's why at work sometimes you have to ask yourself, okay, if I give you what you need right now, you will finish what you're supposed to do. What happens to mine? And here's the funny thing. I used to work with someone, when the person needs something from you, he wants it now. When you need something from them, it's not their priority. And I told that person, "That's the game that you want to play. We're going to play this game very well." Because again, if I need something and you know I need it urgently, you can't give it. But when you come to me, you want me to drop everything and help you. It doesn't work that way. For those ones, it's no thank you. It's not going to happen. But some people whereby you know that if you go to them, you know they will drop everything for you. Sometimes we need to replicate the same thing. But there are some people that you know that they can't do everything for you. But the funny thing is, people that want everything from you, most of the time they're the ones that cannot do anything for you. So that's what you have to ask yourself is, some people just tell them loud and clear and direct, no. N-O. No.
Thank you.
If you want to, say thank you. Yes.
Yeah, from my experience, those people that are in your life that help you one way or the other, they don't even demand as much as those that are not even there for you.
Exactly.
And there was this my brother, when I did an admission to college, they asked us to pay acceptance fee. And that is the only fee that we pay there. And it is 20 naira. My dad was not financially okay at that moment, and it's going to be late. So I went to go to this my brother, and he said, "Oh, you get an admission." And he said, "Okay, I don't have 20 naira here, but let's go to the bank." So it's not a thing that you can transfer there. It's no internet. So we went to the bank, and they said the money that he has in the bank, if he has to withdraw 20 naira, there is not enough. He said, "What about if I close down the account?" So he closed the account and gave me 20 naira. And he has never asked anything from me. But I always remember that piece, and I will give him something. There was a brother of mine. I came from school, there's no money, nothing, no food. And I know that he always keep some money, they keep some money with him. And I said, "Okay, give me just this amount so that I can refuse me." And I will, so I have to do labor work to be able to go back to school. And the person that refused to borrow me that money cannot go with me to go and do. And there is a brother that need to go to school. So he had to suspend the school that day. So we went to go and do the minor job together so that I can go back to school. Do you know that the person that missed his class will never call me and ask me for anything? But the one that refused, so that's
the way it is.
The way it is. So, and we cannot satisfy everybody. And I don't know where this will fit in our seminar. I've discovered that when people always demand on you and you say you are giving them, it doesn't mean that they are defending you or they are saying good or when they get to a group of people and they are complaining about you, it will be the first person that will say, that is how he is.
Right.
That will be the person. When I say no. The moment you talk about me, one day when I feel and I give you, that will erase your all what you have against me.
That's why go back to desire to be loved.
Okay.
The reason why we want to be loved is because if people will say good things about you because you give. Think about it again. On average, they will not. So if you give something, give because you want to give, not because you want people to love you. Because you can't pay for love and validation.
The indirect way of saying no, there's a point there. When ignore the request, avoidance. Sometimes I think one of the best way to say no is avoidance. Because you don't give them the opportunity
To ask.
to ask, and you don't give them the opportunity to even say, this is what you have said.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so in some ways, avoidance is one of the ways, because sometimes it's good not to have that conversation at all.
I know.
And there is another way. Some people will not ask you for anything directly, but they will be complaining every time. That is not asking you for anything, but it will be, this is it, this is it. That is indirect asking. So when I call you today and you are complaining, tomorrow I call you, I will not
Stop
call you.
calling.
Victor will not ask anything. This banana.
Now, let's get to how to say no. Now, we'll get to the question you're asking the other time. Now, saying no will not always be comfortable. You said the other time, you just have to be comfortable with the reaction you may get. If you think saying no will be comfortable, think about it, it's not going to happen. But the case is, be comfortable with the reaction somebody may give you. Once you get to that point, you're comfortable with that, you're good. Once you're in a place where you don't want people to, you are not seeking for people's love, then you are good. But if you keep looking for people's love, you will always be disappointed. Now let's get to the question to ask first. Does this request further my interest? When I say your interest is part of your interest is about what does God want you to do? Where does it lie? Does it factor into everything that I want to do? Like I said again, it might be a temptation, it might be an invitation, and everything. You can invite to wrong places. Does that request further your interest? Because if it doesn't further your interest, the answer should be absolutely no. Am I saying yes wholeheartedly? Or if you're not saying yes wholeheartedly, say no. Because the gift you give, the time, the sacrifice you made, everything you made, that do question, there is no reward for it. Zero. So sometimes you tell somebody, I'm not going to give you anything, because you know that you're not going to do this. Another one is, what will I lose by saying no? Why not? So what do I have to lose?
And they love me because they're getting.
In fact, most of the time, things that we say yes to, many of them, they have no value to us.
You don't follow your interest.
Yeah, except for when we are talking about work environment. If somebody is asking you to do some things, will it add value to you? Will it add value to your career? Or is the person just trying to use you?
So that's why what would you do by saying no?
Hmm?
And also, what would you give by saying yes?
I was gonna say there's certain scenarios where it may be completely so inconvenient to say yes, but you know you must, because there's certain people who maybe have positioned themselves in your life a certain way where they're always there for you. It doesn't matter what you need. Even if you don't tell them, there's some people who are always there all the time, where to the point where if they need something, it doesn't matter if there are 5 things going on. I feel like in that sense, sometimes I feel like saying no is not an option. I feel like whatever I've got going on, for this person, I cannot say no to that. You know, there's certain people, and it's not even that a fear of being loved, but it's just the way they position themselves.
I get it, but that sometimes gives savior mentality though.
You think it's savior?
The case is it doesn't matter how much people love, people will do something for you, you can't help them every time. I'm not saying that there's people whereby you want to do something for them, but there are times whereby you can't do something for them.
Yeah.
Because it's not within your power, because you're not God.
But if you can.
But the case is, well, if you can, yes, you think, okay, I can do something for them.
You know, there are some people in one's life, when you sit down, like what Pastor Joe said the other time, there are some people in one's life that at the point where you think there's nobody that can help you again, they just come up and do some things for you, and when they are always there for you to help you. You know, for somebody that's always there for you to say no sometimes it's always very difficult. Not a matter of.
Let me ask you this. I always say God loves a cheerful giver. Are you a cheerful giver or a guilty giver? Answer the question. Are you a cheerful giver? Because sometimes what we do is, because somebody do something for us,
So
we feel that we owe them.
So we feel obligated.
Obligated. The case is, when you feel obligated to do something, sometimes you do it not because you want to do it, or even you're able to do it, because you feel like if I don't do it, then I feel bad. Well, whatever you do out of guilt doesn't help you either. I'm not saying we should not give to people, because when somebody help you, it's normal to want to reciprocate, but sometimes God does not even put in your place to reciprocate.
Alright. In fact, Yoruba people has a way of saying that if I help a very tall man, it may be a very short man, give me the reward.
Yeah. So sometimes you can inconvenience yourself all you want. If God says it's not your place, it's not your place.
They don't do that.
So, for instance, for someone that has been in your life and have done something to you, you know, some people, they will not ask for anything in return.
Yeah.
Some people, they will be like, oh, I'm the one that did this for you.
Yeah.
You must do this for me.
Yeah.
For instance, someone did something for me way back, and I have paid this person back more than 6-7 times.
They will keep referring to exactly
But
the
still,
same thing.
Yeah.
They
they're
will,
still telling me, if not for me.
yeah, exactly.
No, for that people, they always have the sense of
Entitlement.
entitlement.
Yes.
And anyone that has a sense of entitlement in my life, one thing I do is that I just ignore it.
Yeah,
ignore them.
but the case is, there are times you want to do something, but it's not within your power to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying that it doesn't matter what somebody has done for you. Don't get me wrong. We need to learn to be grateful. When people do things for us, we should do our best to say, well, but the case is, don't turn it into a guilt and obligation. It doesn't help.
You know, sometimes we have some people like that will not even ever ask you of anything.
Right.
That will not even ever ask you of anything.
Yeah.
But you will just
So,
think,
I remember last week, he said, if whatever we give or whatever we do, if I do something for you, I know I'm doing it for God. You know? God will use another person to bless me.
God has a many way of rewarding people.
Yeah.
So whatever we do is a finish of it.
Yeah, so I think, like, am I saying yes wholeheartedly?
Yeah.
You know, it should come from your heart. Whether you did something for me or not,
Or
it's
not.
coming from my heart.
Yes.
You know, there are some things also that many of us also carry in our mind. Siblings, family members, we think we are obligated to help them. No, you're not.
Yes.
The case is, and some siblings feel that if you don't help them, you're doing something wrong. What they forget is, God is the one that helps people, not people.
Yes.
The fact that you are born in the same family doesn't mean the person is supposed to help you. The fact that even you are twins doesn't mean the person is supposed to help you. Because what you've done is you've turned the person to an idol. Or sometimes you turn yourself to an idol that the person you are supposed to do for that person. And then you begin to overstretch yourself. So we have to be very careful. I'm not saying don't get because some people will help you and God will put in your mind that you are in a place to help them back.
Yeah.
By all means do it. But don't do it out of the fact that I have to do it.
Yeah.
Who are you? God is the helper, not you. Let's stop playing God in people's life. It's a savior mentality again. Now, let's start getting comfortable. How do we getting comfortable with saying no? The first thing you do is think about your values and your needs. What are your values in life? We talked about that earlier. Your family, what do you value in life? Yourself and everything. And also, what are your own needs? Start thinking about it. If your request does not fall within your value and your needs, tell yourself, no. If this request doesn't really help me and everything and all this stuff, or if this request is not valuable to me, sometimes being generous is valuable because you value the kind of value that you carry and everything. Helping others is everything. But the moment you start getting to the point of obligation, it's when your value anymore is an inconvenience. The second one is choose discomfort over resentment. You may not be comfortable saying no to someone, but the moment you get to the point of resentment, you give somebody money and you are complaining. Stop giving them. Or you help someone and you are complaining, or you help someone to do something and you are saying, people, you are terrible. Stop going there. Or somebody invited you to a party. These people, I am just going because, but these are terrible people. Why don't you go and take yourself there? If you know you can go without complaining, go. If you will complain, don't go. Because when you use that, because it might be uncomfortable, but choose that over resentment. Let go of fear, shame, guilt, and savior mentality. That's where you go. Because fear is the fact that, oh, if I don't do it now, what will happen and everything? Oh, if I don't do it, I'm ashamed and everything. Or I'm feeling guilty. Or if I don't, somebody else will do it. As long as you carry that mentality, you always fail. It goes back to what you're saying about work. If you're always operating on the fact that everything is about your evaluation, that is, don't say no about some things, what happens eventually is the fact that you keep doing what you are not supposed to do every single time, and people will take advantage of you. So some carrying fear of the fact that if I don't help, if it doesn't fall in the place that you can help the person, you can be polite about it, saying no. But don't carry the fear that, oh, they might give me $5 or everything. They don't create you. God created you. God will make a way for you.
And I want to add this. When it comes to performance evaluation, there are some things that we do at work that are not related to our performance evaluation.
Yeah.
Everybody is evaluated based on your what they call primary assignment. Are you meeting the expectation? Every other thing that is outside your primary assignment
It's an addition.
is an addition. The only area, sometimes they may, when it comes to maybe measuring collaboration, helping others, those things may factor in. Relationship. But there's no way that in your day-to-day activities that you will not come up to help somebody.
Yeah.
So that will not affect your evaluation negatively. The moment you are meeting your job description, that's it.
And even sometimes as well, actually, there are sometimes you say no, and God is trying to use us to get you out of that place. Because somebody keep using you and everything, you don't have anything to say. Sometimes when you say they might actually kick you out, but push you to the place where you're supposed to go. Remember, if Joseph did not say no to Potiphar's wife, he's not becoming the prime minister ever. That was one of the greatest no in the Bible.
Yeah.
Because again, the no that he said, because he did not factor into his values and his needs. What Potiphar wants is not what Joseph wants at the moment. Joseph wants greatness. Potiphar is looking for satisfaction. Two different things. Now, it is not your responsibility to think about how others feel. This is why many of us miss it. If I say no to them now, how will they feel? If you say yes, and it's not comfortable for you, and you are resenting, how do you feel?
Or you put yourself in debt.
Yeah? How do you feel? So, the case is, every time you keep thinking about what will somebody think, the fear of what somebody will think, you miss it. Because if you always put the responsibility about how somebody will feel every single time, then you become irresponsible to yourself. Yes.
I was going to say, and I also don't know what that situation is, but I think sometimes there's a place for, in my mind anyway, a conversation with whatever manager, supervisor, whoever is giving the assignment. Because you can say, when I was hired, this was my understanding that I was supposed to do X, Y, Z, and this. this other thing that maybe I'm being asked to do now was not a part of that. Help me to understand like how this ties into these. There are certain situations where, and this has happened in like even with our supervisor group, where one person maybe they're doing some one big assignment that they're asking the rest of us to chip in and help because there's a gap, and it's a temporary thing. It doesn't mean it's going to be a forever
Of course,
thing.
yeah.
But I think so. There's some times where the need is short term. Maybe they're hiring somebody, but here's a gap we have.
Yeah.
Can you please help out?
No,
So I feel like those ones.
No, definitely. Yeah. Because what we are saying is, it's not for you not to do anything for anyone. It's not that's not the point. The point is this: is look at the point of how is it stretching you out.
Yeah.
And for example, I told someone, I said, in one place where I used to work, I did everything. Even a lot of things beyond my paycheck, I did everything. But what I did is that prepared me to understand how businesses run. Sometimes you may jump into many places and do a lot of things and everything, and it helps you. And everything, or sometimes you can help out in different places, and many times people that help also, some of them will also stop by to help you too. In that place and everything, because I do help a lot of people, when I needed something, they are queuing to help me. Sometimes it's needed, but when you realize, but in the same place, I have one person that I think their own needs beyond all of our needs. That person, they're not dealing together.
The other thing I was going to add is that sometimes though also doing too much can also be a disservice to the other person. Like if you leave that job and somebody else is hired behind you, if you know that the job you're doing is not, let's say you're doing 12 hours worth of work because now you're working weekends and evenings to get it done. I feel like you're doing a disservice to the next person they will hire because they will expect that person to function in that way, even though that's beyond
scope of the work.
Like it's too much. So I think sometimes there's a value in expressing to leadership that.
Thank you for bringing that up. Actually, I was one place. Somebody used to work overtime. They used to work extra hours. What's their salary? They used to work 10 hours. I said, no, you are inefficient. If you can't do your job in 8 hours, actually something is wrong with you. There are some jobs that stretches, but this is what they will do. They will come to work for 3 hours. They'll be chatting for everybody and all this stuff, and then they will stay late, so that everybody can see that they are staying late. So I said, no, you are wasting your time. Your job can be done in 8 hours. Why are you stretching it? So, and also stop creating unnecessary expectations. And then somebody will say, I said, I don't need to stay late because I can factor all my work within 8 hours. Why do I need to do extra? And also, if I'm smart and efficient in what I do, I can do my own work in 4 hours. It's not your business. It's because it took me a lot of time to understand how to do it faster. So you are paying me the extra for the knowledge that I gain. That's the way it works.
Well, I think it depends on the kind of, it depends on different departments.
Yeah.
When I first started at Mayo, I was like that. Oh, I'm on the fast lane. I'll finish everything and I'll be sitting down. People that they give us the same task, they were talking to the nurses, they were chatting, and I finished mine.
And
then I sit at the computer, do stuff on the computer, and then the next thing I had was like, oh, Esther is not using an initiative to help others. This thing was on my for all, in fact, almost 6-10 years. I had to leave that role just because I'm not helping others. I finished mine. It's not like they said I didn't finish mine. So I think it depends on
definitely, because what some people do is what some people call teamwork. Teamwork is I can't do my work, you do it for me. That's not teamwork, that's laziness. Teamwork is you bring your skill, I do my job, we get it together, we get everything done. That's the difference. Now, I'm looking at time now. Practice saying no. Actually, literally go to the mirror and say no. Say it out of your mouth. Yeah. Say no. 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 You don't want to.
I want to bring the philosophy of my father this morning. My father said something to me some years ago. He said, for you to grow, and for you not to be offended, and for you not to be offending people, don't make a lot of requests from others. And when others are making much request on you, know how to say no to them. He said, by the time you are making many requests from people, you get many enemies. Because you may be thinking, Garnet is not helping me, Dollar is not helping me, Festus is not helping me. So you are acquiring enemies. So he said, you should live your life in such a way that you don't make many requests to people. And when people make requests to you, the one that you know is within your power, do it for them. Anyone that you know it is not convenient for you, say no to them. Although, as I was growing up, I discovered that I was not living according to that principle. Although I don't make requests to people, I don't make requests to people, but I keep. Now, it got to a point, it now dawned on me. My father said this to me some years ago. I must be able to live within this his principle. And that was how he lived his life. He was a produce buyer. Where he got that principle was from people coming to take money from him. You know, or this produce buyer, people will be coming, when they take the money, they will go and get their produce and bring it back. And by the time he was at his death, many people were still owing him because they did not return all those money they collected from him with their produce. He now said to me, many people will come to you to come and make requests of money. If you don't know how to say no to them, they will take all your money away.
So that's one thing about you to practice how to say no, and sometimes verbalize it, so that it's easier to come to the that way. Now let's look at also, this is what you are saying, accept when someone else says no. Because the reason why many of us do not say this is because somebody says no to you, then you feel bad the whole world. The reality is they were not born to help you. So when they say no to you, live with it. And I love what you said about the Eras philosophy, because the case is, stop making many requests to many people, unreasonable requests. Because the case is, now, when so many people help you, you also become indebted to many people too. There is one thing that I love about my mom taught us when we were growing up, is the fact that you cannot go to somebody else's house and be asking for something. She told us, live within your means. If all you have is a penny, that's all you get. But don't be going to, because what will happen is, if 1,000 people help you, indirectly you're obligated to every single one of them.
Right.
And then, now, if you now go to them and they say no to you and they become your enemy, then actually something actually wrong with you. So when others say no to you, accept it. Because when you say no, so that you don't become an hypocrite.
Because of our time, I have this thing. Last week, I was the only black among the group that are working. And this guy has a problem, so I was the one sitting next to him. So he left me and went and asked for help for another person. So they tried, they couldn't solve the problem. So when they went for break and it remained the two of us. So he didn't request from me, and I went to him and this is the how to do it, and I solved the problem. So when they returned, he just went to them and he solved the problem. He didn't tell them that
You are the one that
that solved the problem. The guy has how do you say? He didn't answer him. So they don't want to. They don't even want to say it is me because they don't expect that I will know that thing. In such a situation, he didn't even request. Can I still do?
Let's talk about the outcome.
Yeah.
I think we should, after we talk about that. Now, I want to speak now. This is now how to say no. The first thing is this: is be sure of your answer. Because when you are not sure, people will persuade you. They will bring you 1 million reasons. Because the case is, you know you have to pay your bills. and everything, because you have to show that my answer is no, and I will stick to no. It doesn't matter what anybody say, I will stick to it. And the second one is, don't pretend or lie.
The question I have is that
Yeah. Don't pretend as if you are pretending as if this and everything, or you are lying. Because sometimes what many of us do is the fact that we lie about things. And somebody will say, I need this money from you and everything. I don't have. Sometimes you have, and you don't want to do it. You can just tell them no, without giving a reason. Because you are trying to explain, then you get into lying. You don't need to stay away from that. Because it doesn't matter when you tell lies, God does not like tell lies. So instead of pretending, so don't give any reason. They keep pushing you. Why are you not giving me? I'm not giving you. Nothing more than that.
I don't have, I'm not giving.
Even if I have, it's not my priority. It's not my priority to give you at this moment. So I'm not giving you. Somebody I said, if I have money in my retirement, I have money in stock market, the market is not, I'm not going to go and create my investment because of you. It's not that actually I don't have some money to give you. The point is, at this moment, it's not my priority to do it. Now, limit excuses and explanations. Because the more you explain, because the more you keep explaining and explaining, the more you keep trapping yourself. Because like I said, if you tell someone, oh, I have to pay this, they will tell the reason why their own is better than yours. So the more you explain, the more you trap yourself. Just be brief and about it, and you will see where that one is. Now, limits committing or nominating somebody else. So go and ask us what we do for the money. The case is, because what you do is you are putting a burden on somebody else. If you say, let your own no stay to your no, but don't nominate or don't commit anybody.
Maybe somebody can help you.
Yeah. So just limit to that. And finally, use the broken record system. You know the broken record? It's the same thing over and over and over and over again. They come to you, this, no, I cannot give you. No, I cannot give. By that, over time, you wear them out. There is one person, if I eventually try to give that person something eventually, this person just keep bothering me. The same message and everything. The message I made was actually I blocked that person completely. Because after I gave them something small, they disappeared completely. I didn't even see them anymore. They didn't even say thank you.
And Odo is very nice guy when it comes to that. There was a particular man who wanted to do the burial ceremony of his mother in Nigeria. And the person kept on sending message to me. And I talked to Odo about it. And he said, why can't you just give him something? I said, no, I'm not giving anything.
So one thing about it is because the broken
I said no.
The broken record system actually, the person is because it prevents you from giving too many explanations and excuses. Once you stick to your response, just stick to it. That's one of the best ways of saying no. If someone says, okay, are you gonna, come to something and everything. No, I have to finish my own work. They come to you, no, I have to finish my own work. Over time, they will stop disturbing you. But one of the things about it is just saying no is the fact that most especially just be polite. Remember, it's not you have to be very, very nice. Just be polite. Yeah, because don't make the person feel terrible that whatever the case is, be polite about your response to it. Because sometimes you can say things to you whereby you can create enemies for yourself because of your no. But say no politely. No, thank you. Sorry, I cannot help. Because sometimes again, you can use a apologetic one and everything. Sorry, I cannot do this at this moment. And that's all. And don't commit yourself into, because sometimes the more explanation you give, the more you give out your life. So people, if you tell some people that you are trying to do investments, in their own mind they think, why are you investing? Just don't get into unnecessary explanations. I don't have it, I can't give it. I cannot come with you, I can't do this with you. Oh, you are going to that place. Oh, come with us to this place. I cannot come with you. There was a time I used to play for a team and everything, so the person was like, why aren't you going to play? I said I was going to church. The person said church and everything, and the person wanted to keep talking, and I just say I cannot come. The case is number one, you are not paying me to play. What if because the day as you want to play, that's the day I'm going to church. So I'm not coming to play with you for any reason. So the main thing is just, again, it goes to the value system. And don't because if person keep pushing and pushing and pushing, just stick to your answer. Because some people want to provoke you, and be careful not to get angry. Just say what you want to say and stick to it. Finally, now think about the request you have received in May that you meant to say no. Now, how will you say no now? Based on everything we talked about.
Blocking.
So,
Wonders will be okay.
Yeah, you don't have to answer everything, but I want you to think about it, because the purpose of this is for us to be able to know how to regulate our lives. And remember, the reason why we say it's not for us to say no to everything. It's to say no to things that doesn't further your interests, and things that become a complete inconvenience. And doesn't stop us because sometimes God wants us to make sacrifices. It doesn't prevent that. But don't turn yourself into a savior, because you're not. So that's all that we have for today. I think the time is fast spent.
Yeah. You didn't answer Pastor Joe's question. I think he was asking.
I said we do that off camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I wanted to tell him that he's not the only one who has experienced that. Even most of the Igbo people, when we work with them, they prefer that they teach you something. And the moment you want to teach them, it becomes a problem. Even if when you teach them, when they are responding, they so the problem is solved. If
you will not give you credit for it. It's covered.
There's one of my classes. My finance class.
Yeah, I want us to wrap up so that we just wrap
In
up.
my finance class.
Let us wrap up and continue after the.
Okay.
So that's all that we have for today. Let us stop it. So, all right, thanks everyone, and
Thank you.
this is